The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the first day of November 2022. Sherry,
Yes.
you know what that means? You know what this means.
I don't need a lot for Christmas. There is something I knew, and I.
Mariah did, folks. If you didn't see Mariah's Twitter this morning, go
It was
check it
cool.
out. It's time, folks. And, well, folks, there's Christmas carols. You better start, because if you don't, we will. Welcome to the Daily Hour, brought to you by Medical House One Communications and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's singing Sherry Vanderpool, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break. Sherry, did you have a decent Halloween? You see Sunshine and Maya, and they did it big, man.
I know, and I just want people to know we did not rehearse that.
No, we didn't.
We did not. It very quiet. Very, very.
What does
Very
quiet mean,
quiet.
Sherry?
I had no trick-or-treaters, and Jamel, I am not telling you nothing in confidence. No
What?
more.
I'm just asking how your Halloween was. So you mean you went to get candy and nobody showed up to get it?
Nobody showed up, which is weird, right? So we're new to the neighborhood, and you see some of the houses all decorated and all types of stuff. So I'm like, oh, well, I really need to get candy. Like, this neighborhood's serious. And I didn't see now one person walking
Oh.
around trick-or-treating.
Well, I mean,
Now, how the neighborhood set up might have been in the back of the neighborhood. I don't know.
so you're in like the Rosa Park area of the neighborhood.
No, I'm not, which is what
you're
I'm
at the front.
saying.
At the
I'm
front.
at the front of the bus.
Oh, so basically, you know, I don't see anything wrong with not having any trick or treat. You're new to the neighborhood. They don't trust you yet. That's all that means.
Well, as soon as it got real dark, I just turned off the light all mad. I was like, psh.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Well, Sherry, if this makes you feel better, we had trick or treaters, and
Yeah,
I
the
tell
whole
you guys about my
situation.
neighbor. My neighbor always just tries to outdo it. The entire neighborhood brings a damn food truck so that, you know, you giving away your little candy and they're giving away tacos and whatnot, right?
That's my kind of neighbor, Jamal. I would have been like, give me 2 chicken and beef.
Yeah, whatever. It's not even Taco Tuesday. It's a Monday, but whatever. And
Okay.
one thing I realized, you know, I mean, I'm from 6 Gospel Lane, Pembroke, Bermuda. Those who don't know, that's Marsh Folly. That's St. Monica's area. You know, we went trick or treating. It was like grocery shopping. So I don't know about these children going in the bucket and grabbing one candy at a time. They were just thank you, and with the fingers like this here, grabbing one. I'm like, my goodness, home training. I guess,
Well,
you
listen,
know.
I got several phone calls or messages about the lack of candy corn that were in the children's bags. And I was like, yes, there
Yeah,
is
but
somebody out there. They were like, somebody called me. They was like, there was no candy corn in my daughter's bag. I was like, great. She doesn't need it.
that's
Then
what I'm
somebody
saying.
else was like, my son only got one. Great. He doesn't need it.
Yeah, I'm surprised. What kind of complaints are those? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Get candy corn off the streets, folks. Let's do it anyway. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today. So we welcome Elsie. She's coming on the show from Purple Mint to discuss mental health among young people. I just want to say thanks again to everyone who continues to support us. And if you haven't already, make sure you sign up for membership on our YouTube channel. Just hit the join button to become an official member of our channel. Just want to say, some people, there's a misconception. Becoming a member doesn't mean you got a damn newsletter, folks. Like, if you haven't realized, we don't send out emails to people unless there's something big happening. So it's not about a weekly or monthly. We're not filling your email inbox. So let's just get that out of the way. Second thing is, we appreciate you tuning into this show and supporting us. We do, but truthfully, sometimes it takes a little financial support to keep us going. So
Right.
$2.99, if you can spare it. We know it's tough times, but I know, it's tough, but it's more or less so that we can build more partnerships, which we'll be, announcing in the coming weeks. All right, now let's get into today's conversation, folks. So I saw something. Anyone remember Cordell Riley? Mr. Riley was on the show recently talking about minimum wage. Well, he had a post on his private Facebook page. Pretty much the hotel of the future, no front desk, no staff on duty, self check-in, just a number to call, housekeeping in the morning. Until then, you're on your own if you're lucky enough to check yourself in, right? So basically it was a picture he took of a hotel where it's pretty much no one there. You have to do everything yourself. Now, if you remember correctly, I'm not trying to take credit for thinking of this, folks. I'm just saying, if you understand industries, economics, and work, you will know that the world is evolving and these things will be happening more and more. I keep saying bartenders will be obsolete. Oh, no, bartender, you need no, you maybe need a kitchen porter. You don't need a bartender. You will be able to press a button, grab a glass, press a button. You want what's a drink combo? Whiskey and sour? You want a whiskey?
Whiskey and sour. Whiskey and sour. I thought it was whiskey sour. I don't know if it's whiskey and a sour.
Look, I'm not hip with this. Well, let's go with rum and Coke. Something easy. It is rum and Coke. All right. You go put your glass underneath and you press the button for rum. It gives you a certain amount of rum. You next go Mick, for your what's it called? Chaser. Push a button and it gives you Coke. Folks, there's no need for a bartender. So the question of the morning, very simple, because regardless of what you do, it impacts you. Not necessarily maybe your job, but how you live your life. The obvious one in Bermuda, which is one that is happening around the world, is the self-checkouts at grocery stores, right? Yeah. And retailers. But how should we respond to technology replacing jobs? How should we respond to technology replacing jobs? That's the question of the morning. How should we respond to technology replacing jobs?
I think quite easily, Jamal, we need to learn to pivot. Let's give the example of a pandemic that ended up, not replacing jobs, but shifting how we worked. We ended up doing meetings online. We ended up using different software to create our product. We also shifted into the workplace, and the jobs that we took on now were more tech savvy or just different in that sense, not as hands-on. So when it comes to technology replacing jobs, we just need to learn to shift. We may need to be on the back end in regards to technology. We need to learn to start coding. We may need to learn to start just various things that have to do with technology, and looking at industries that we can find jobs in those areas. We all look for a shift in careers at some point, so looking at that shift, we just have to look at how can we be in that space and be comfortable with this technology that is about to come. But I think it still can create jobs in a different element.
Interesting. I agree. Back end jobs, they're still going to require people. How should we respond to technology replacing jobs? Sean DeShield says taxi drivers are also in danger as driverless cars are also on the horizon. How do you all feel about a driverless car? Would you get into one? Rosalind
Mm-mm.
Famous says, I was just at a hotel in Vegas with that kind of system. It was a horrible experience. It's not against technology. It was just a bad experience. Sean DeShield says, we have no other choice but to embrace technology replacing jobs, as there is nothing that will stop this eventuality from happening. Yeah, I mean, I always say we have to embrace certain changes. But how do we respond to it? I kind of agree with Sherry in terms of, even with technology replacing jobs on the front end, there still needs to be people in the back end, right? Because
Yeah.
whatever man makes has the potential to break. And with that being the case, you need people to be able to fix things.
Yeah.
But also, what new opportunities may there be let's use cashier. I'm not going to use the full-time cashier, but in Bermuda for years, there were people who worked full-time jobs, then they did evening cashier jobs.
Mm-hmm.
What can
Me.
they do to replace that missing wage?
Income.
Yeah, that missing income. What can they do to replace that?
Oh, well, now there is virtual assistants where you can be online and helping to schedule people who possibly is in a whole different time zone. So if you're a day behind or different things like that, so you have a virtual assistant. You
Mhm,
can also, of course, do your online shops and for various items.
mhm,
People have a idea of selling sneakers or selling things,
mhm,
and it could be sneakers that you don't even touch.
mhm,
Um, so it's very is this what we're doing now?
mhm.
No longer do we need to go to a studio. Jamal and I didn't meet for a whole year.
Thankfully. Uh-huh.
I know, Jamal. There's something we're on the same page about. Whew. And so at the same token, so we have this full show going and we have yet to meet because everything's virtually. And I chuckle, Jamal, because I'm looking at my parents and the transition that they had to go through, right?
Mhm.
So I remember my dad purchasing me a beeper for Christmas one year. You
Hold on,
know?
Maya. A beeper was one of these things where like people could let you know they're looking for you, and then you had to find a payphone to call them back. Just letting for.
But look how that evolved. So a beeper went to then it was a text message and you can send things. Now we're going to a cell phone and so forth. I used to
Mhm,
do Yahoo Messenger, and now it's we've moved
mhm.
with the technology all of this time. Right now, though, Jamal, I think it's at a faster pace. I feel like before we were kind of slow moving,
Mhm.
but now it's a little bit like, okay, you better learn how to use these computer systems because really this is what is about to happen.
I think this is probably one of the most important conversations we've had in a while. You know, uh, I'm gonna pick on Maya because someone called me, one of my mentors per se, with his quarterly lecture last night, and he brought up Maya in respect how, although she made a name for herself in a technological age, he said, you know what put her ahead of so many others? She embraced the community in a time where we weren't around each other. She got amongst the people. And I
Hmm.
said, that's interesting. That's interesting because you heard her name at the press conferences for COVID, and you saw her on video. But he said, no, she actually was out amongst the community. And I want people to understand, even though technology says that you don't have to be face to face, be still getting out there and being to face will get you things that being behind can't do. What do I mean by that? You can connect all you want on LinkedIn, but you want to actually still network in person so people know who
Yeah.
you are beyond what they think you are and who you portray yourself to be. For instance, Sherry and Maya didn't know I was so tall until they saw me in person. That presents a different idea of who this person really is, right?
Boy, please.
Oh,
You
I'm sorry, I ran off track. How should we
short.
how should we respond to technology replacing jobs? And I mention that because Sean DeShield says the human element here. Which
Yeah.
is
No,
important. The
it
human
is.
element will always be present. But from a cost of doing business perspective, technology is the answer. And we must remember the human element. Even businesses. I mean, a business exists to generate revenue and in turn make a profit. But even they, don't want to just like Elon Musk everybody, right? Just you're out of a job. That you don't want to do that. You want to have a sense of conscience, right?
No, I was going to say, are you one of those people like me who is like, um, when you're calling a place and it's the automated thing, and I'm just like representative, because I don't want to talk to you.
I
I
legit
need
am
to,
that person. I'm
or
gonna be
pushing
honest with you.
zero.
That's one thing I haven't embraced. When I'm calling
No,
customer service,
yeah.
I want representative. That's absolutely me. Sean Smith, sorry, says, I will pay the premium price to stay in a hotel for human contact because that experience cannot be replaced in my book. Shikarena says, train on the management and maintenance of the technology. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that would make most sense, but again, if it makes financial sense or not, is what I think most companies would do. But I think if you train on management and maintenance, you're saving on finances later on, to be honest. Juan de Bermudez, hey, thanks for discovering the island, says, if you can check in to fly electronically, rent a vehicle, shop, etc., well, self-check in at Airbnb is already a thing. What is the reality that the new hotel was sustain 700 people? Well, that's exactly where I wanted to go, Mr. One Day, Mr. Discover Yourself. This is where I want to go.
Yeah.
As I responded on the post by Mr. Cordell Riley, my comment was, well, I haven't been saying this for years, which is why I'm not quite sure why folks keep saying Fairmont Southampton reopening is going to lead to jobs, especially for Bermudians. Folks, that hotel, they keep saying it's going to create hundreds of jobs, 600, 800, the number's changing. Come on, folks.
Yeah. Self-checkout, huh?
Come on, folks. Jobs for who and how many? Technology is replacing even the most human of positions. If
Yeah.
anything, the idea for the government should be figuring out how we can get a generation of people to do the back end job, like Sherry was mentioning, that may be required on back end. Because I can definitely see this hotel, this person investing all this money, taxpayer too, investing all this money. They want a return, right?
Yeah.
Well, if it saves them money to do what Juan de Bermudez is saying, check in electronically, check out electronically, no human face, get their key, swipe their own card.
Mm-hmm.
Would they not go that route?
The first time that actually happened to me, Jamal, was in possibly 2011 in Amsterdam, I believe. And I was like, what is this? Where's the people? So can you imagine if they were already teetering with it over in Europe that, it's that was 2011, right? So could you imagine what it is now? Hence, while now it's being introduced other places.
You know what I thought, though? The question is, how should we respond? And truthfully, we shouldn't be asking this question right now. How should we? It should be, how are we responding? Because it's already happening.
Yeah.
It's like, if we're still thinking about how we should respond, we're already probably so far behind, right?
Well, and we possibly are so far behind, but it's again, when things become the norm, you learn to adapt to situations. You may try to fight it. I know some people that still write checks. You write checks, Jamal?
I've probably written one in my life, Sherry.
Well, this is it. So you still have people that are adapting, and once that
people as in her.
I don't write checks, Jamal. I can't tell you the last time I did. And when I did, I was like, do I put this right here as a line, right?
Well, check this. Audience, let us know what job do you think will be replaced by technology very soon. Just let us know in the audience what job you believe will be replaced by technology very soon, and there's quite a few. How should we respond to technology replacing jobs? Sherry, Michael Daniels and Rosalind Famous.
Sure. We'll need to define what our basic skill set is so that we can pivot into new areas. Okay, so part of the conversation of the future of work is the need for taxing each companies in order to supply a universal basic income once all jobs are replaced by technology, because people will still need to pay their bills.
Shrika says
Yeah.
AI is replacing paralegals. Interesting. Research can be done even faster. I buy movie tickets, don't order concessions on my phone, but a person delivers it to our seats. Customer service still needed. Sam Petway
Well,
says it's almost the same in UK with one person on front checking you in, but posh hotels different. So the Sean DeShield share.
the younger generation who are born in an age where technology is the norm will only feel comfortable supporting the Internet of Things and contactless consumer products. Yeah. And I was just going to add to Shikarina, until there's a robot that brings you your concessions, because they use them in the hospitals.
Yeah, it's coming. I asked folks, what jobs do you think are under immediate threat from technology? Tanya Cheeseman says bank tellers. Michelle White says cashiers are already being replaced in UK. In UK, I mean, you could go to my Target on the street, 22 registers, not one open. This is daily, folks.
Yeah.
Folks, it's an interesting time. It's also Maya time. It's also Maya time. But I just think we have to start thinking ahead when it comes to this. Technology
Definitely.
is not the enemy, especially when embraced. You know, I'm proud, you know, of the fact that I can count on one hand how many times I've seen Sherry in person or Maya in person, and we're able to do this for you today. You know,
Yeah.
we're able to you know, have conversations on a daily basis with you. So Michelle White, just because I think this echoes Sherry's point, there are already restaurants using AI wait staff in the US over COVID. Well, again, if you go in airports now, you know, you order on those little, you know, computer machines and someone brings you your food, you know. So it's we times are changing and
Yeah.
we have to evolve. But again, I always say this. So what's his name? Steve Perry, Dr. Steve Perry, when he came to Bermuda in 2009, he said,
Yeah, you said it.
we have to be preparing children for things that don't yet exist. And we have to ask ourselves, are we doing that? If your child is going to school to become a social worker or, you know, physical education teacher, and this is no disrespect to them or you or what they're going to school for, but are they truly being prepared for things that don't yet exist? Sherry mentioned coding. It's not my thing. But if you want to exist, well, it's time for Maya, folks. And hold on. I have a joke. I'm not going to make Maya go through it. I have a joke before we
Because you're getting in trouble.
Yeah, I'm going to get in trouble for this joke. So, folks, you know, it's Mariah Carey time today. You know, if you saw her tweet, you knew it was time. So, are you ready for the first? I ordered another book. It's the Holiday Christmas Dad Joke book.
Dad jokes.
Dad Joke Christmas book. Here we go. Here's today's joke.
Stay off Amazon.
Are you ready, Sherry?
I'm listening.
All right. What kind of car? Oh, no. No jokes about me. Do not. What kind of car does an elf drive?
A Jamal car. Listen, my daddy lives in Bermuda, right? Please. What kind of car does an elf? A shoebox? An elf box?
All right. What kind of car does an elf drive? Ready?
Yeah.
A Toyota. Get it? Toy?
And it breaks the answer like that down, right? It's like toy dash O. Oh my God.
Shit, let me remind. Oh, she's probably laughing at that one.
Good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. And I did chuckle just a little bit.
There you go.
Get your friend, Maya. Get him.
Oh,
It was
boy.
a decent one. It was a decent one.
A
I
Toyota.
Thank you. Stop. What? Oh, whew. We needed that laugh. All right. Go ahead, Sherry. Try your hard shot. What you got the news for us, Maya? What's going on?
Well, unfortunately, it's not very much good news coming up today. It's just mainly some police reports that I have. So yesterday, Monday, October 31st, as you all know, was Halloween night. A man's lifeless body was found in Blue Hole Park area of Hamilton Parish shortly after 11 a.m. Police press release says that an on-call doctor attended the scene and pronounced the man dead at approximately 1 p.m. Anyone with information on the matter is asked to contact the police. You can call 211 as well.
Oh no, that is very, very sad.
Mm.
I mean, I guess they haven't provided any more details. We have to wait on that. But folks, if you know something and you in the area, please give them a call.
Yeah.
Next up, another police report. Also yesterday, police sent out 2 missing persons report. The first was sent around 7:30 a.m. to seek out and locate 32-year-old Faisal Baya. A few hours later, at around 12 p.m., the police reported that the search had been concluded. Then late last night, around 9 p.m., another missing person report, which is still ongoing as of this morning. The police need assistance in locating 47-year-old Jose Ramos, Mr. Ramos, and Azorian National was last seen around 10 p.m. on Sunday, the 30th of October at Front Yard on Front Street. He is described as 5'5" height, slim built with white complexion with short hair that's dyed blonde and faded on the side. He is anyone with any information about his whereabouts, please being asked to also call 211 or contact a police officer that you trust.
The police haven't said these are connected in any way, have they?
No, they're both sent out at completely different times. No information about any connection.
Okay. Bermuda Small, folks. If you see him or know him, please speak up. What else you got for us, Maya?
The last police report that I have for you guys tonight, again, last night, Halloween, around 9:15 p.m., police received a 911 call regarding 2 males fighting in the area of the birdcage on Front Street. One of the males, a 31-year-old, sustained a cut to one of his hands. The other male, a 46-year-old, suffered injuries to his back and both arms. Neither of them have life-threatening injuries, but again, police are asking anyone who knows anything to please contact them.
Man, what a Halloween. Gee. Police were working yesterday, huh?
Yeah, for real.
Well, hopefully both of those men will recover and some sanity will prevail in this situation there. Any of the good stuff you got for us?
Some good news. I mean, November is Men's Health Awareness Month, and the Bermuda Cancer and Health Center wants to celebrate the month with a series of events to raise awareness about prostate cancer and raise funds to support men's health initiatives in Bermuda. Also, yesterday, as we mentioned, today is actually the first day of the series of the Father series, Fathers Stand Up, which starts today at 5:30. Again, there's going to be a lot more series, so if anyone still wants to be involved in that, they can call 478-3333. Tell your friends, tell your family, and hopefully those who go today have a good session.
All righty. Get out there, fellas.
Jamal.
Huh?
Make sure you sort yourself out.
Yeah, I'm going.
Because you're hard-headed. Go get your prostate checked.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep.
And lastly, as we continue talking about mental health in Bermuda, I just want to give a shout out to 3 people that I follow that I find to be quite helpful with mental health spaces. First being Mask BDA, counseling for men by men, and then Peppermint.media, which is a good mental health space, and then Simply Chardonnay, which is good for child and adolescent mental health. And these are 2 books that I like a lot.
Who wrote them?
Well, this one is from Cleo Wade, and I think you can actually pick it up at Kristen White's store in St. George's too, but I was lucky enough to find this in a thrift store because I've always wanted one, and I was like, oh gosh, yes, saw it, picked it up, great. And then this one, I don't want to say the person's name because I know they're going to be talking a lot more about it, but it just says by Cloudy Muse, so we're going to go by that. But I just want to read. I know this is my longest news break. I'm sorry, guys. But
no. Do your thing, player. Do your thing. Go ahead.
I want to read 2 poems that I really liked from this book. I find myself listening to the same song over and over and over, addicted to the stability of the symphony to calm the fatality of my mind. and I related to that. So I liked it.
I think I'm a fan.
It's a really nice book. Like, it just has a lot of like short but great poems in there that are relatable or help you feel like, okay, someone else is going through this too. So it's like, I really like that. And same with Cleo Wade's as well. She also has a second book where you can like write down what she asked you to write down, that kind of like they coincide together, which is really great. And this one helps me a lot too. I normally read it in the mornings when I can. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. It reminds me of what I say about social media. Like, follow people that inspire you, that help you in some way, not those who drain you or entertain you, which is a form of it, but not those who you're constantly comparing yourself to or that will drain you or so on. But I like that, Maya. Real quickly, Maya, what you got in the news weather for us? Anything good there?
Mostly sunny, thank the Lord. Moderate ease to light by the evening, a little bit of windy, but it's going to be 79 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm so glad to have the sun back because the rain, the constant back and forth.
The rain on your parade.
What?
Well, we didn't get to ask you when you came in as well, because we were all laughing at my funny joke. But what are your thoughts about technology replacing jobs? Like, how should we respond to it? Any word on that? Any idea?
I think one of the things I learned actually from Tech Week in Bermuda when I was moderating the panel was, I know we want to focus on like what jobs are going to be available in the future, but I don't want to make people feel like they shouldn't still follow their passions and what they love a lot. So I still say what I learned was follow your passion, find what you're good at, and then incorporate that tech within it. So you have what you have and then try to make it better, like bringing NFTs into that space and so on and so forth. Like, that's what you have to do to just keep progressing in the field. Don't be afraid of tech and just keep trying to learn about it as well, so you can incorporate it into the things that you love. Because you're not going to want to get into tech and then you hate it and then you're not going to do it. But if you follow something that you're passionate about, you're going to work on that hard, and then you're going to bring in that tech to even make it better. So that's what I learned.
You heard it, folks. What you got in Days of the Year for us, Sister Sherry?
Today is World Vegan Day. It amazes us to see how far this movement has come. Remember when veganism started off as a diet fad and then eventually grew into a lifestyle option? The joys and benefits of veganism are advocated on this dedicated day, highlighting just how easy it is to go to this meatless lifestyle. Even though veganism calls for the rejection of all animal-based products, a plant-based diet is the best way to encourage this change, with thousands of delicious vegan recipes or altered versions of meat and dairy dishes posted online. So happy Vegan Day. I'm not vegan, I'm not even plant-based, but I will eat some of those things if that makes any sense.
What, French fries and chips?
No, like I know how to make like vegan cheese. Like I've done a vegan like lasagna, like with ricotta cheese made from cashews and stuff. But it's a lot of preparation for all of it. You got to soak them overnight. You got to cheesecloth it.
Do you eat plant-based, Maya?
I do sometimes. Like I kind of do sometimes. I have a friend of mine who actually makes a lot of vegan food too, so I tend to like. Go over there and eat that food as well. I'm gonna leave now, but I do want to say one thing. I know we don't like shout outs, but shout out to my cousin Malachi because it's his birthday. He's turned 17. I love him a lot. So.
I mean, it's not that we don't like him. We embrace him. It just has to be the right people. Big up, Malachi. Okay. Happy New Year to you, my brother. Enjoy, and hopefully Maya gets you a gift that costs a lot of money. All right. See you later, Maya. Have a good day.
Bye, guys.
Alrighty, Maya Palacio, folks. Do not go anywhere. We're going to be talking to Elsie after this. This is a very important conversation. I think
definitely
with more and more young people having these honest conversations, more and more of us need to listen and embrace these conversations. So please don't go anywhere. Please share this conversation. We've got someone in the audience for Sherry and Maya. Charles H. Jefferson II that says, I eat a Beyond Burger with bacon. Does that count? Oh my
God.
Oh my
Charles, you and I would be there.
My goodness, folks. Vegan folks, do not go and throw mustard or ketchup or whatever you do. Is that the PETA folks? Don't do it to them. Don't do it to them. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this. Oh my goodness, Charles.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
I say no to single-use plastic because I grew up in the most beautiful place on earth, and I want the next generation to enjoy swimming at a pristine Clearwater beach like I did as a kid.
There are studies that are showing that plastics are having impacts on fertility rates.
If we're going to have decades before these chemicals are out of our system, I think we really need to prioritize it so that we can see a future.
Ocean health and human health are intimately interconnected, and if the ocean is healthy, we're healthy.
We've looked at over 250 fish in 12 different species, and 40% of them had plastic in their gut.
Well, in the past, single-use plastic was a convenience to us. It's not a convenience anymore. It's hurting our island, hurting our ocean, and we need to stop.
A little change makes a big difference. SST-SUP. Say no to single-use plastics.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by Medical House One Communications, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to sign up for membership. Just hit the join button right below the video to become an official member of our channel and to support the work that we are doing in our community. Real quickly, I just saw the group, TDH group, and I was going to ask, because and I'm not being funny here, folks. You guys know I have an old soul, so I'm not up with the latest rap and rappers and stuff like that. But I saw that this morning when I woke up, I saw that a rapper called Takeoff from Migos was from who? Migos?
Amigos?
Oh, Amigos? That's what I said. It said Migos.
Migos.
Oh.
Not Migos.
Yeah. Okay. So Migos. So it's supposed to be, okay. I'm sorry. So apparently one of the rappers named Takeoff from this rap group was murdered. That's what's being said. I mean, again, I may not know these rappers, but folks, if you pay attention to the news, we are losing way too many rappers. Like it's insane. You know, I don't follow this stuff like that, but at least when I was young, the only ones I remember, and I'm not saying it's the only ones that happened, was Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah. And the unfortunate part, they are from Atlanta. And so this is not gonna, bode well. And it's Quavo. And then you have Cardi B's husband who's married to one of them.
Oh, what's his name?
Cardi B's oh my gosh, Takeoff, Quavo, and Offset.
Like, what's a song that they sing? I'm not. We do have a guest coming up, folks. Who?
Bad and Bougie.
How did that go?
Gosh, Jamal.
I'm just not into rap music like that. I'm not. Throw on some little Biggie. I may know.
Yeah,
that.
I'll have to. I can't.
I know some Ludacris. Ludacris still raps.
Like for his movies that he might be in.
Lil Jon and the East Side Boys, some stuff like that. I don't know about this new stuff.
I am seasoned, but anyway, as we
This is not
digress.
my look. I stick with the R&B all day. It ain't dead, folks. Let's bring our guest. We got a very special guest for the day. Elsie, we're talking a very sensitive yet important conversation. Let's give her a warm welcome to Elsie. Good morning, Elsie.
Good
Welcome.
morning.
Welcome. I see that you have purple on.
My favorite color.
That seems a very important color for this conversation, and I'm sure you will tell us why, because you represent Purple Mint. What is Purple Mint and its purpose?
Okay, so Purple Mint is a mental health organization. First launched in 2018 under a different name, but we changed the name to Purple Mint because I felt like it suited what I was trying to do better. And I guess to explain what the name is a little bit, it's purple combined with empowerment at the end. So Purple Mint. Oh my God. Sorry, my dogs just fell.
We have pause. You're all good.
Yeah, so that's what that where it came from. And I guess for me, I mean, one part of it is that my favorite color is purple. But I think the feeling that purple gives me, I mean, it's this combination between red, a really bright, like loud color, and then the calmness of blue merged together creates this purple. And I kind of felt like that embodied like what I want to do with this organization. So yeah, that's where the name came from. And so yeah, we're dedicated to raising mental health awareness. We have a couple of streams. I think we're going to get into that later on with how we do that. But
Yeah, and I love that. I mean, obviously, I'm not the smartest apple on the tree, so I wouldn't have put Purple Mint, meaning the color plus empowerment. But Sherry does well with play on words, so she probably read through that play. But I love that. I love that. Where did the idea for the organization come from? Where did you say, you know what, we need to create something like this?
Okay. So really and truly, the organization started because I was having a really rough time. Like roughest period. I mean, I've had worse periods after that, but during this period of time, it was the worst storm I had encountered thus far. And I was just down like bad. I was down bad. And I was like, in the midst of all of that, I guess I just had this like thought of like, I felt like there were no resources available for me. And I guess once I kind of started to get out of that bad place, I wanted to change that, especially, for young people. I felt like there was this disconnect surrounding mental health. And I guess the reason I had kind of thought of it is because people would come to me with mental health problems, and I guess a lot of that is because, I do have like scars like on my body and stuff, which people, obviously see, Bermuda's quite hot. So, so people obviously see these things. And what was happening in high school was like, I remember one time this guy came to me and he was like, oh, like, I think my sister is self-harming, but like, I don't know what to do. Like, can you talk to her? And I guess sort of just like a couple of interactions like those, I was like, I need to, do something on a sort of bigger scale. And the committee has changed throughout the years, but one person, Sanjaya, she was with me from the beginning and she's still on the committee to this day. So yeah.
You know what? I absolutely love that. See problem, create solution. And I think if more of us thought like that, the world would be such a better place. And even in business, they say, going into business is not just about trying to make money. It's about fulfilling a need, solving problems of others. And so this is no different. Speak to us about a Royal Gazette article I read earlier this year, where you mentioned that mental illness is often misunderstood. What are some of the misconceptions you believe when it comes to mental illness, and what is your organization doing about addressing it?
Yeah. So many misconceptions. I mean, starting from, I think, for one, like we'll talk about depression first, because I think that's quite a big one, and one that people are probably the most familiar with. A lot of people have this misconception that, it's laziness, and that, people just don't want to do it. And the thing about it is, it's so much more than that. And I think unless you've experienced it, it's very hard to truly understand. I mean, there's a difference between being sad and, being depressed. Like depression is like a bodily experience. I mean, for me personally, when I get in those spaces, my body feels physically heavy. Like I feel like have a dog, and even taking them out on a walk, I'm stopping every few minutes to sit down because I just feel heavy. And I feel like that's something that people misunderstand. Anxiety is also a big one that I think is misunderstood. Just with the symptoms of it. I mean, you can experience anxiety, but that's different from having a diagnosed case of anxiety. I think it's a sliding scale of sort of like severity. Another big issue is when it comes to taking medication. So many people have this weird sort of perception of medication.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting to me because, I'll see people, and I'm specifically, talking about the youth, but like I'll see people, smoking weed every day, but then you bring up the idea of taking, a pill for, let's say, depression or anxiety or bipolar disorder or whatever. And then, the tune changes, like all of a sudden, like, it's big pharma this and like big pharma that. And I think there's this misconception of A, what the medications are doing, and B, the idea of like, if you even think about, I mean, diabetes or any other sort of illness, like people are taking medication across the board, and I think the stigma around taking medication is not helping, because then people are not getting the help that they need. And medication is just one part of mental health. I mean, there's also, therapy support with that, community support along with that. But for a lot of people, myself included, like taking medication, for me, I have bipolar disorder, and it helps to stabilize my mood. I'm quite frankly very unstable without them. And that's just, where I am in life. And that's where a lot of other people are. And there's no shame in that. So I would say those are probably some of the big ones. Another big one, sorry, just to briefly talk about this, because I have bipolar disorder, and one thing that really bugs me is the overusage of the word bipolar. People use it to describe everything, and the thing is, the English language is so vast, and still they overuse this word, and it's like, oh, she's so bipolar. No, she's not. She's moody.
Well, in that respect, just explain to those in the audience who may not know what bipolar is. Just explain what it is for them.
Okay, so bipolar disorder is mental health conditions where it's characterized by extreme highs, which are called mania, or in bipolar 2, it's called hypomania, and then periods of depression. So mania, hypomania can range from anything from hallucinations, delusions, reckless spending, promiscuity, not sleeping, not eating, very energized, all sorts of things like that. And then depression, I'm pretty sure people are familiar with that, but suicidal ideation, low mood, low motivation, guilt, sort of things like that. Sleeping more, sleeping less, those are sort of what depression encompasses. So I guess, the issue for me with the overusage of that word is that it takes away from what the condition really is. Because when you're saying like, oh, she's so bipolar, she's not. She's moody. That's the word that you're trying to say. Like, she's moody, and it's, that's fair. People's, moods change. But bipolar disorder is a serious illness, and it's not. And I think people don't understand like what it is, and the overusage of it. Like, oh, she's so bipolar. Oh, my cat's bipolar. Like it sort of takes away from what it really is. I mean, similarly, like, I'm trying to think of like a parallel, but I guess what I'm just trying to say is it takes away from the true meaning of the word, and it diminishes the experience of those who have the disorder.
It dilutes it.
Yes, dilutes it.
Folks, if you have any questions or comments for Elsie, please feel free to share. We'll get through as many as possible. Go ahead, Sherry.
And just to go off what you're saying, Elsie, it definitely waters down what the real issue is and the illness itself. But in speaking with that, a lot of young people are suffering from mental health issues as well as adults. But what are the issues you are commonly seeing in young people, and how are you able to address those issues?
Okay. Another issue, I guess, that we see is sort of linked with mental health. And I actually recently wrote an article on this in the Royal Gazette, but I think it was titled The Unspoken Side of Abuse. One thing that we commonly see is that there's sort of a disconnect in how people understand symptoms of abuse. And there's obviously, I think, classical symptoms which most people are familiar with, like becoming withdrawn and detached,
Mhm.
and like, I guess abstaining from sex, those sorts of things. But I guess one thing that we commonly see is a very judgmental attitude, especially in the younger community, towards people who react on the opposite end of that spectrum. Because what's not talked about is that people who experience abuse can also end up hypersexual, like over
Mm.
sexualizing themselves. And then another thing that's not really understood is like, it's so easy to cast judgment on someone like, oh my gosh, they're going out again. They was just out, yesterday and the day before that.
Mm.
But we don't stop to think like what are they running from? What is going on in this person's life that they are drinking, every night, or, smoking weed every day? And that's another common thing that we see, especially in Bermuda. There's sort of this perception where it's like it's normal to smoke weed every day, but like they wouldn't think about that. They wouldn't think about drinking every day, but then like smoking weed like is okay. And there's sort of this misunderstanding, I think, about the usage of cannabis. And because this also kind of relates to mental health,
Mhm.
I have no opinions. People can do what they want, but the overusage of it can lead to mental health problems. I mean, if you become dependent on it, right? And that's messing with your brain, and then it's messing with your body signals. Like people, especially when they tend to stop using it, lose their appetite, they're irritable, like all of these sorts of things. And so, yeah, that's definitely one thing I see a lot is, yeah, that relationship.
Mm.
Hmm. Interesting. People in general are not open to going to therapy. Um, you have a hard time saying or convincing people that therapy is a good thing. And they just feel that it doesn't help. And I believe you just always need to find a good therapist. But how are we removing the stigma of therapy so that young people would embrace it more?
Okay. So through the Instagram page, I had once made a post on therapy. This is
Mhm.
a little while back. But and I did post on the Instagram store and I was like, would you guys like me to do a part two? And I got a yes. So I'm gonna be working on that. But on that, I sort of broke down the different types of therapy. And the thing that's so rewarding about this organization is that you get to see the impact that it's having. Like after I posted that, people had like DM'd me, like asking more questions or like resources that they can go to. And it feels good to know that like, you're helping. And so I guess I've seen that improvement, just sort of from the feedback. But I live what I preach. I mean, I myself go to therapy. I advocate, the people in my close circle to go to therapy. And I do understand that not everyone can afford therapy. And I guess that's where it gets sort of a bit difficult. But even in Bermuda, if I'm correct, I think there's organizations that offer like subsidized or cheaper therapy, or you can get a certain amount of sessions free. Because I know they do that out here in the UK as well. But I believe Center Against Abuse offers some sort of counseling service, the Family Center maybe. But yeah, one thing that we're doing, and then also in the WhatsApp group chat, we do talk about these things, and we do host an annual event where it's sort of centered around mental health, and I definitely speak about mental health the most. The other speakers kind of speak of what they speak about, but that's how we're trying to, get that this spelling. I think the big thing, and the reason why I made that post on therapy is that people have this idea, and I see it all the time. They'll be like, oh, my friend's my therapist. but she's not, you know. Therapy, they have a license, and the thing about therapy, it's not just about going there and talking about problems. There's so many different types of therapy. I'll just briefly go over this, but there's CBT, which a lot of people may be familiar with, cognitive behavioral therapy. That's where you're like changing negative thought processes. Um, then there is psychodynamic therapy, which is where it's resolving like trauma, primarily with the person leading. And then we have play therapy. There's EDMR, which is eye desensitization movement therapy. They kind of like hold your finger, and it helps. It's been scientifically proven to help reprocess painful memories, because especially with things like PTSD and stuff, you know, with the flashbacks, what's happening is that they're experiencing as if it's happening right now. And so what EDMR does is help to reprocess it in the brain as something that's happened in the past. That's not something your friend can do, you know. That's the training that people have taken. And so I think when people say like, oh, therapy isn't for me, or I don't need therapy, they're not realizing the vast amount of types of therapy. And if one type of therapy doesn't work for you, there's so many more to choose from. And finding the right therapist is crucial.
Key. Well, in addition to what you're saying, Elsie, yes, your friends are definitely good people to unpack, but they also do have, you know, their concerns or things that are going on within themselves. But like you said, finding a great therapist can help with that. And I think with everyone, we need to take the stigma out of that. But you mentioned that you had this WhatsApp group, and I thought that this was pretty cool, right? And that you send out inspirational messages. How important is that to some of
Cher's frozen.
those who are in the group?
Okay. That group chat, so Malika runs that now. She's a person in my community. She is doing a fantastic job with that. She, you know, sends out the motivational message. But one thing that I really love that she thought of is that she'll do mental health check-ins. I would say definitely once a month. It could be a little more, but she'll do a mental health check-in, and she'll have like a list of emojis. And I think it's different colored hearts. And so like people will send like what heart they are. And one of the beautiful things to see is when people, like for instance, the black heart could be like in a terrible place right now. And it's so, you can see in the group chat, like people will send that black heart, and then everyone is, you know, sending motivational messages to them like, oh, like, I hope you keep going, like, it'll get better. You know what I mean? And it's so wonderful to see. I mean, just yesterday, actually, someone in the group chat said, you know, I feel like dying. And a few people had like messaged, I think some of my committee members also private messaged them, and a couple people in the group chat were like, if you need to talk privately, like, I'm here for you. But I think that speaks to the culture of this group chat, that someone, I mean, was even like comfortable in sharing that with the group. I mean, and the outpour of support. I mean, someone, you know, sent, you know, some, I think, a quote, or, and like I said, a couple of people like privately messaged them, because the group chat is big. I think there's like 70 people in there. So a couple of people private messaged them, and one of my committee members did say they spoke to them, you know, in private, and kind of had a conversation with them about what they were what was going on with them. But that's the culture of that group chat, and it's so important to have community and to have support. One of the things about even depression or feeling sad is the isolation that it causes, and feeling like it's just you, people will be better off without me. And sometimes you really do just need that one conversation with someone that keeps you going, that, you know, that little light that they pass on to you. Sometimes that's all people need. That, and for me, like these, just on a daily basis, like seeing the message, like, you know, the daily motivation, a couple people have told me, have messaged me, or I bumped into them in person in Bermuda. Like sometimes the messages are just weirdly on time. Like it's like exactly. One person told me, they were like, I had just gotten bad news, and she was like, I was literally like bawling my eyes, crying, and she was like, I heard the WhatsApp notification, and she was like, you know, the message for the day was, don't let the troubles of yesterday ruin, I think, the happiness of today or something like that. And she was like, it was just what I needed.
Elsie, and that's great. We are out of time, but I just want to ask you, you've also written a book, right?
Oh, yes.
Before you go, just real quickly in the most concise manner possible, tell us about the book and how people can get their hands on it.
Okay, so actually it was the book Maya was talking about earlier. This is the book, Diary of a Psycho Hippie. My alias is Cloudy Muse. The book is about my life with bipolar disorder. I think the thing about this book, I think it's one of those things where you learn a bit, but also there's relatable poems. But it goes through mania, depression, medicine, denial, acceptance. So it kind of walks through that, and you can get it either on SJD World. You can buy it online, and that's Bermuda and internationally, because I have some copies out here as well that I'm able to send internationally. In Bermuda, you can pick it up from SJD World or get it at Bermuda Bookstore.
You said out here. Where are you based?
Oh, I'm in the UK, but the international shipping is from anywhere. Like on SJD World, you can choose any country, I believe.
Okay, real quickly, one question from the audience. Shawnee Shields asking, is Elsie available to make presentations about effectively dealing with mental health to small independent groups and/or companies?
Oh, you know what? Interestingly enough, my committee just 2 weeks ago, we're talking about how we wanted to get into doing things with organizations and kind of bringing mental health in practice, like in the workplace or, in schools and stuff. So definitely we do want to do that. I have an email for, the organization, and you can shoot that an email and we can get back to you.
What's your email address?
Oh, it's the old name. It's sierraspeaksbda@gmail.com. That was the old name. I probably need to make a new one. It's confusing.
No worries. Elsie, honestly, this is a helpful conversation. Audience, I really do hope that you share this. This is a young person using their own experience to help others, educate others, and actually improve the well-being of young people throughout Bermuda. So Elsie, thank you for this. Continue to do the work. Continue to write those articles, and we'll be sure to make sure we get our hands on some of those books to probably give out to our audience. All right?
Thank you.
No
you for
problem.
having me.
No problem. And keep in touch should you need our platform in the future. Even if it's just new space with Maya to kind of get some stuff out of what you're doing. All right. Stay well, and wishing you great. And is your puppy nearby?
Yes, Ishan. Come.
Because Paws doesn't speak much, but he's a member of our family. And he's I heard the puppy in the background. Paws.
Here he is.
Well, hello, puppy. Oh, isn't he a love bug? Well, thank you both for your time this morning, and he didn't bark, so he was on his best behavior.
Yeah, he was on his. Honestly, he was really good. He was really good. He's usually much louder and much needier. He only bothered me once. I had to push him away. I don't know if you saw that. But
look, the audience loved you. They loved you. Trust me. We need more people like her in the community. And we will just one more time. The email address was sierraspeaksbda@gmail.com. Or even if you DM us on the Instagram, we check our DMs all the time because we're always getting collaborative messages and stuff. People usually DM from there. But even on the Instagram, our email is attached to that. So is Sierra 1 R or 2?
SIERRA.
RRA. Okay. All right. I've just shared it in the comments for everyone. So you can send an email there. But thank you again. Seriously, stay in touch with us. All right.
Thank you.
All right. If you appreciate today's conversation, please give us a thumbs up. A love, folks. There's about 70 of you on YouTube right now. What I need every last one of you to do is just hit the like button. Just do that one favor while we take a break. Thanks so much to Elsie. Really appreciate that conversation. We'll be right back to wrap it up after this.
A lot happens around your home. That is why at One Communications, we have introduced affordable security and video monitoring, because everyone should be able to afford to protect their family. Anytime, from anywhere, One Home Security keeps you connected and puts security in your hands with an easy-to-use smartphone app to control everything. Home security is important to keep you and your family safe. Motion-activated cameras around your home and security monitoring within create a complete security system providing protection both inside and outside your home. Professional monitoring means that there's someone on call with 24/7 protection to notify the authorities and help keep you and your loved ones safe. We are dedicated to whole home protection with indoor and outdoor cameras, smart door locks, motion sensors, and more, so you'll always be connected to what matters most. With professional installation, no upfront hardware fees, and low monthly rates, because keeping your family safe should be affordable for everyone. Total home video monitoring and security, there's no better way to protect your home than with One Home Security.
All right. Thank you so much to Elsie for that conversation. Appreciate it. Thanks again to One Communications, People's Pharmacy, Medical Health, and Linders for ensuring we can have those kind of conversations. As Mark Arthur C. Phillips said, you took the words right out of my mouth, Jamel. Smash the like. It's free. Literally, it takes no effort, folks. It literally takes no effort. Just like the video. I really hope you share these conversations. A young person using their own experience, being vulnerable on this show among us, to share how she's using her experience to help others, folks. Seriously, we've got to get these conversations in the spaces of everyone. You know what gets me is, like, I was just talking to one of my mentors yesterday and said, keep up the great work you guys are doing with these community conversations. And I said, here's the challenge. When we have these politicians on, everybody's tuned in. Like, they like mess, they like drama. But when we have these important conversations with very important members of our community, where are you? We've got to change our mindsets from mess, political mess, into community empowerment and movement. We can be the change we want to see, but we have to encourage people around us to want this information, to be a part of these conversations. Sherry, it's time for the Daily Play. Brought to you by Heineken 0.0, great taste, no alcohol, and Bermuda Trivia. Now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sherry, are you ready?
Sure.
It's a remember when. It's an easy one, seriously. It's an easy one. Beyonce Knowles visited Bermuda and performed in Bermuda's music festival in what year, Sherry?
Is it 2008?
Didn't I say let me start my music first?
I knew Sancha's very proud of me.
Yeah, I was gonna say we couldn't ask this if Sancha was on because I swear she had something to do with it. You know, she
did.
Exactly. All right, Sherry, you got it. You need to give.
I am on.
You should have got it wrong just now. You should have got it wrong because you broke the rules. My music's got to start first.
Don't be trying to put on rules now just because you're getting slammed. I'm on fire. Next, moving on. What was your thoughts about today's show, Jamal?
Yeah, go ahead, Sherry. Go ahead. I'm going to copy you. You guys go first, so I could, copy you guys.
So today's show was great. And you could copy me all you want. I love the question about kind of how we're making out with technology and jobs, or how we're not, or in regard to that. I think we just need to pivot, and we just need to start educating ourselves more about what is out there and what we're going to need to do. Like I said, the pandemic kind of forced you into it. And now that we kind of know where the world is going, there are opportunities for you to do that pivot. As far as Elsie, that was a great conversation, with me being a social worker, mental health, therapy themselves. It is great to see young people out there doing the work, providing this information and providing a community for other young people. I think for me, that is the most.
Yeah, Sherry's frozen again, folks. Popsicle Sherry. Well, look, I'll say this much. I just want us to be better as it relates to technology. I want us to embrace technology, and we have to respond to it in a manner in which we can benefit from it. We all have to provide for ourselves and our families to make a living. So we have to find ways to evolve with the times as it relates to technology. With Elsie, folks, I never thought the day would come in my lifetime where we would be having these conversations about mental health among young people, and I'm glad it's happening. We used to, when I was young, tease people for going to therapy or counseling, guidance counselor's office, and so on, and the term crazy and so on. No, we all go through stuff. How we respond to it is how we differ. And there are people, professionals in place who can help us to deal with whatever it is we're going through. Sherry, you got some daily inspiration for us? Oh, she's frozen again. I guess that's our cue. Sherry, no daily inspiration. You frozen? Yoo-hoo. Sherry, it's me, Jamel. Well, I'll give you some daily inspiration since Sherry's a frozen popsicle. I don't have nothing written, but I will say, be cautious and conscious when it comes to other people and their feelings. You never know what someone may be going through. On that note, thanks again to our partners, Medical House, One Communications, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. Well, she was Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, make it a safe and a great day. I would say we're out, but I'm definitely out. Peace.